What's going on, guys? Breaking down UFC 304 today. Pretty excited for this card. We got 14 fights in total. A lot of fun matchups and some good betting spots sticking out. So let's get right into this one, man. First fight of the night, we got Bannon and Ardelean. First glance, Bannon minus 175 over anyone is a bit scary. Don't really want to get involved in that. So she's had one UFC fight. That was last July in London against Brasil. She's a plus 130 dog there. Just had a range kickboxing fight with Bruna, so gave her a great matchup. I do think Bannon's a bit one-dimensional. Don't really think her grappling is that good. Her striking is meh, like it's okay, and that's primarily what she is. I think, in this matchup, so Bannon plus 130 dog in her first fight in London and got pretty easily outstruck by Brasil. So this fight now, I know at least Ardelean is coming in on short notice. She's fought absolute bums as of recent. She does have a good loss to Weili Zhang, and then Deanna Balbita a bit back. Don't really want to trust this girl either at plus 150, but the thing I'm eyeing, so she's plus 400 to win the decision, Ardelean. And I do think early on in this fight, I think she's going to have a slight physicality advantage. She's a little shorter, but I just don't think Bannon's I don't even know she belongs to this weight class. She may need to go down, to be honest. And I think Ardelean early, just the pressure, she's pretty mean. She'll come forward. I could see her winning some early minutes. So the plus 3.5 is priced at minus 260. So her to win just a singular round is near 72%. So I do think her to win a decision plus 400 is a bit wide. And honestly, it probably plays out pretty close. So split decision plus 1,000. Not a bad look. I haven't played it yet, and if I do, it'd be pretty small, but that's kind of where I'm leaning for this fight. I think it can play out close, and I think the number's off there. I don't trust Bannon to cover minus 175 in a 15-minute striking fight. I really don't. So, yeah, dog or pass there, and give me Ardelean by split, likely. So next fight up, we got Parkin and Brzeski. So I bet Brzeski in his last fight over Walter Walker. Was pretty passionate take there, and I haven't hit many dogs of recent, but that was a solid one. But I wasn't very impressed by his performance. Walter Walker is very, very low level guy. His striking, even for heavyweight standards, it's pretty bad, man. And I think in that fight, Brzeski's problem, he's good volume for heavyweight. It's always been his thing, but he can be taken down with ease. And yes, this line's very wide. It got steamed a bit more. It was just minus 280 a few hours ago. We're at Parkin, was it minus 350? So way too wide for my liking for a heavyweight fight. But he can cover that price tag theoretically. He should get takedowns at will. If he does engage in a, kickboxing match with Brzeski, yeah, he's a lot of kicks per Parkin, but Brzeski's going to have just more volume with his hands. So overall, Parkin, he had all the upside here, I think, is with his wrestling, but I'm not getting there at minus 350. Next fight up, I do have a bet here. We got Sam Patterson and Crosbie. So don't want anything to do with this money line. Sam Patterson was plus 120 last time out, and I get that he was coming off a knockout, but it's not like Yohan Lainez has not been submitted a few times. It was a pretty obvious play there. So Patterson was plus 120 money line, plus 380 submission, and now he's minus 400 and submissions minus 150 in a similar type matchup. So we're paying a premium to back Sam Patterson here. I still play the sub prop. I got in on the opener plus 150 for half unit. So that's all I can get on prop openers is a half unit. But I like that position, plus 150. Right now, at minus 140-ish for the sub, it's a bit chalky. I think you kind of just fade the round one. Sam Patterson isn't a guy to really offensively wrestle that much. There's a chance this fight plays out where they strike, and if you're holding a money line ticket on Patterson, you'd be really worried because Crosbie can crack for the first few minutes. But I think there's a chance that this does get to round two, and as it extends, the submission will become a lot easier. But once it hits the ground, any round, I think he gets it. But right now for value, I would say round two, round three, that's where there's value. But yeah, just Patterson sub is the play here in my opinion. Next fight up, we got Kape and Mokaev. So I thought I was gonna get to Kape here. I I really want to fade Mokaev, but it's just not the spot. So Kape, when I went back, and I hate to judge someone from like tape from literally what is this 6 years ago, but I wanted to go back and see how many, just his get-ups. Does he have get-ups? What happens when he gets taken down? How's his takedown defense? And in Risen, the tape was rough. So Horiguchi was able to take him down pretty consistently, found a choke late there, kind of just wore him down, and down the stretch got the submission. The other one was Sasaki, who's he's big, man. He must have been, he looked like a featherweight in there compared to Kape. And he also found a ton of success getting Kape down. But I didn't see many get-ups there. Kape, even years ago, 6 years ago, was mostly playing BJJ off his back. And when we seen him in the UFC level, like, he hasn't been taken down that much. Pantoja fight, Pantoja shot one takedown early round one, but he didn't grapple at all in that fight. Kape was the one that shot. He was kind of sealing like round two, round three. He had some takedowns. And his offensive wrestling is good. But we really didn't see Pantoja have to push any grappling pace on Kape. He was able to outstrike him, because the thing with Kape I noticed also on tape, I'll get back to the grappling, but in striking fights, I love his striking, but if he's not hurting you, he's really not separating that much on volume. He lands like 15 to 20 strikes per round. Now, if he hurts you at all, like, he goes off. But typically over, like, in a decision, he's not really separating that much minute to minute on striking. He does land the cleaner shots on a lot of guys. He's just way better and technical on the feet. But back to his grappling. So didn't see any get-ups in his old Risen tape. And when we saw Nicolau get him down, end of the round, no attempt to get up. And then we saw Dvorak get him down a bit too. So I think his takedown defense is solid, but Mokaev is such an elite wrestler. The way he can chain stuff together, I do think he gets Kape down a good bit. So if Kape's not really letting the hands go on the feet because he's worried about takedowns, and Mokaev is shooting 20 plus attempts here, I do think he can wear Kape out a bit. I know it's big cage, but I do think Mokaev gets him down decent bit. So I really wanted to back Kape because I love his striking. So clean on the feet. He does have that flying knee, and there also was that rule change this past week about guys keeping one of their hands down. So we'll see that's in effect this weekend, and because Mokaev is one of these guys that he will just rely on keeping one hand down on the mat so he can't get kneed. So I don't know if that's in effect, but we'll see. It could come into play. But overall, man, give me Mokaev round 3 submission plus 2,200. So Mokaev just, he knows how to like win, man. We saw in Tim Elliott fight. So round 1, Tim Elliott lands the better shots on the feet and is able to take round 1 against Mokaev. Round 2, Mokaev takes Tim Elliott down, controls him for like 5 minutes, but Elliott still wins the round on submission attempts and like damage. Just on the ground, he landed more shots. We see Mokaev down 0-2, come back and submit people in round 3. He has 3 round 3 submissions at the UFC level, and we have seen Kape submitted round 3 before when he has gassed out in fights. So at plus 2,200, I think that's like the only way this fight finishes outside of like it's either Kape KO, maybe early, which I don't think is that likely, or Mokaev late sub, but probably a decision. But in terms of value, plus 2,200 on Mokaev round 3 sub, give me that. So 0.2 units on that, I think, actually. Yeah, 0.2 units on round 3 sub plus 2,200. All right, next fight up. We got Preston Parsons and Elliott. I bet Preston Parsons here, money line minus 135, 1.4 units. The tape on Elliott is, it's not great, man. I know he's one of these guys that kind of like Brady, like a Heistan, that just like will get hurt, come back, and like finds ways to win fights. He's very tough. But going back, so I started with his losses. Like, Figlak's not a bad loss, but Figlak was able to out-wrestle him easily there and then end up dropping him and getting him out of there. The other loss that he had early on was against Madaris Fleminas, the Latvian Express. He's KSW guy. He's been around a little bit, but even in that fight, man, like so early on, Oban looked good the first few minutes of round 1, but once that guy, Madaris, got a guillotine attempt to end round 1, rolled over into mount, landed some okay shots, and then round 2, like, Oban was done, man. He was done. Just got ground and pounded out. Just had no answer. Really just kind of gave up there. We've seen him hurt. We saw Val Woodburn hurt him. We saw Kape hurt him. And he does come back, and like, I do think these guys are very similar. But we've seen Preston Parsons just more at this level. I bet Semi against him. I did think that Semi was going to take some moments, just landing those big shots, those knockdowns, and even possibly knock him out. But I think on the feet here, I know Preston Parsons doesn't have any knockouts, but I like his combinations. I like his pressure. I think he's going to look fresher down the stretch here if he's finding success in the grappling. I do think Oban's very capable in the grappling too, but I've just seen more quit in him. I don't think we get like that. Daniel Rodriguez was short notice, and no shame in that. And then Trevin Giles was just a low-paced kickboxing match. And look, Giles was outstriking Pratis. But yeah, I think Parsons, this is a solid spot for him. You do worry about a guy, traveling out there, but at minus 135, I think it's worth the play. So give me Parsons, and wouldn't be surprised, man. Round 2, round 3. I know FanDuel, they opened it like a reasonable number, then someone just slammed Oban Elliott round 3 on FanDuel. Not sure why. But so now the numbers on FanDuel are a little off market for the round 2, round 3 props, so not a bad look as well. All right, next fight, we got Callan Loughran versus Jake Hadley. I have a bet on Callan Loughran here, minus 195 for 2 units. I'll keep it simple. So I bet Jake Hadley's last fight, I bet him scorecards like no contest. So I bet him finish only. And the reason for that, I think Hadley, I've realized over decisions, he does very bad. He doesn't have great takedown defense, and he's willing to just play BJJ on bottom, so he often can lose minutes that way. I think his boxing is solid. I like his guard, but overall, I just think in this matchup, like, number one, short notice up a weight class, but Callan's gonna be he's gonna be a much bigger guy in there, and I think the takedowns aren't gonna be that difficult to get to, and so overall, I'm sure if this played out on the feet for 15. Can be pretty close. I think Hadley is probably the cleaner boxer of the two, but I would lean Callan just with power and hardware and physicality on the feet. He's also got that giant blockhead. He's got a decent chin. We have seen Hadley hurt. So I think on the feet, I slightly lean Callan, but the wrestling upside here is big, man. Yeah, I don't really see Hadley. He's tricky on the ground. I don't know. We saw Nathan Fletcher. I was trying to go back on Loughran to see some of his older tape, like what kind of like high level grapplers he's faced. He did fight Nathan Fletcher a bit back, and he was able to stay safe there in his guard. So I like Callan here. This line is still, I think, playable. Minus 210, minus 200. I lean the decision, but I don't know, man. Down the stretch here, you never know. He didn't finish Angel Pacheco, so I wouldn't get involved there for props. All right, next fight up, we got Molly McCann and Bruna Brasil. So I'm on Molly here. I think this is a pretty good matchup for her. Molly, yes, she has the holes in her game. We've seen her out grappled. We've seen her submitted a few times. But my thing with Molly here, Bruna Brasil, the way she defends strikes is strange. She doesn't really use a high guard. She kind of just walks backwards. It's so weird the way she evades strikes. She does not like being hit. That right hand I noticed of Denise Gomez landed at will. I think if Molly did want to take this girl down, she can. But I just think she's going to pressure. If you pressure Bruna, she really doesn't have an answer. She needs to be at range. She needs to be at distance. And she's not bad there, but I think Molly's going to come forward. Her boxing isn't the greatest, but she does well, man. She cuts inside. She's got that little spinning elbow and all that. I do think Molly can knock Bruna out. I just don't think the way she doesn't block strikes at all. She just tries to get out of the way, just running backwards. And if you just pressure, you will land. So I think Molly finds a knockout here. I'm not picking around. I'm just playing those plus 260 on the KO, 0.4 units. And then I did parlay Molly up, got in minus 300. So get to the other leg here in a bit. Next fight up is Nathaniel Wood and Daniel Pineda. This is a pass, man. Minus 400, Nathaniel Wood. Don't trust him there. He's he's not a guy you can trust at chalk. So I get that Pineda is getting up there in age. His durability is going. This is probably a round 2 or round 3 finish for Wood, but I don't have a lean on KO or sub. And if you're playing just round 2, round 3 individually, it's like plus 200. It's just a pass for me. I wish there was more playable numbers out there, but there's not. So Nathaniel Wood, but I wouldn't parlay him. All right, guys, next up, we got Arnold Allen and Giga Chikadze. So I bet Arnold Allen here in a parlay with Molly McCann for 1.1 units. And then I have Arnold Allen submission. I bet the opener plus 850 for 0.2 units. And then I did hit the FanDuel opener on their sub 2-3. It moved a bit, so I couldn't tip it out. Like it got steamed right away. But I do think Arnold Allen submission down the stretch here is a pretty live outcome. Sounds like it's a pretty popular play this week, which is kind of surprising. But I think when you look at like Giga Chikadze, he really hasn't faced any grapplers. Like Calvin Kattar was able to get this guy down early in their fight. And like I just don't like how Giga looks on the ground, man. Like I really don't. Like I think if Arnold Allen came out here and pushed a wrestling pace, he would find success. And I think, Kattar laid out the game plan. If you pressure Chikadze and you don't give him his kickboxing range, like you can find success in the striking. Giga's hands are fine too, but on the back foot, just getting pressured, he's just not as good. It's not his game. So I think I wish this was a 5-rounder. This would be a smash spot for Arnold Allen. And I know what the problem is with Arnold Allen's grappling is we haven't seen him grapple in a while. We haven't seen it since Sadiq Youssef, and it's like, well, why didn't Arnold Allen grapple, try to wrestle Max Holloway? But in a 5-round fight, first 5-round fight against Max Holloway, I don't know if the best game plan is fouling takedowns early, especially when Max is not an easy guy to take down. And even if he did take him down, he's not an easy guy to control. And then he wasn't going to shoot takedowns against Movsar Evloev. And then his fights before that, he was finding great success in the striking, so he didn't need to. But I think the smart game plan here is to push a bit of grappling on Chikadze. We saw, what's his name, Austin Springer, man. This guy is not some good wrestler, some great BJJ guy. He's able to take down Giga pretty consistently and submit him down the stretch there. I love Arnold Allen's front chokes. I like his boxing. I think, yes, extended sometimes, he can be a little low volume, but when he does come forward, we saw it against Daniel Hooker, man, and he just came forward, just let go. So I like Arnold Allen here. I get that it can be wide, but Giga's getting up there in age. He's coming off a groin tear. I don't know the severity of that groin tear, but for a guy that's very kick dominant, you don't love that. I think this is our Arnold Allen spot, and I think it's going to be a late submission. So there's some crazy numbers out there. I think FanDuel's still has the best numbers, but yeah, definitely like Arnold Allen, like I mentioned, Molly McCann and him in a parlay, 1.1 units, and then we're playing the sub props. All right, next fight up, we got Christian Leroy Duncan and Gregory Rodriguez. So, first glance, I really wanted to back Robocop here, man. I mean, plus money on Robocop. It's tempting. It's really tempting. I think he's a money line side, but look, getting knocked out by Bruno Ferreira, nothing to be ashamed of there. The Jordan Williams one is rough, but a lot of these fights, I think the recoverability was good in the Chidi fight. Fighting through a hole in your fucking forehead is absurd. I bet Chidi there. And look, Girad's a savage, man. He's got good cardio. He's got good boxing, good power. His BJJ is really good. We'll never see it though, which is no more done donating on Robocop sub props. But I think in this matchup, someone's likely to get knocked out, whether that be Leroy Duncan lands something crazy early, whether it be that flying knee, some elbows in close are really good. His kicks are so high level. He's just a very good athlete. I like CLD, but I bet him against Armen Petrosian at chalk in his second UFC fight. So still a little weary of CLD money line at chalk against capable strikers. Because at the end of the day, he has really unique striking, but if you can come forward and just box, you'll probably win some minutes there. And I do worry that G-Rod is a bit hittable. So I'm playing fight ends by knockout. This was minus 132, played it for 1.1 units. I was hoping to get some under 2.5, under like minus 160, but we never got there. And I'm looking at it like once books opened, like some of them opened, fight doesn't go at like minus 260, even saw minus 300, like fight doesn't go. Sitting there with KO at minus 132. I thought it was a decent spot. So give me this fight ends by knockout. I think Robocop's aside at money line, but I do worry about his chin sometimes. We did see even Tavares clipped him. Jungyo Park was giving him issues before Robocop just found that shot. So I like Robocop, we're talking like money line, but just give me fight ends by KO here. All right, next fight up, we got Bobby Green and Paddy Pimblett. I'm on Bobby Green here. Give me King Green, 1.1 units at Pick'em. So what the fuck are what are we doing here at Paddy, man? I faded Bobby Green with Jim Miller, UFC 300, because I think the concerns are there. This guy's getting older. His style, how he uses his head movement, how his hands are down, isn't great for someone getting up there in age, and we have seen him cracked a few times. But is Paddy Pimblett? I don't think this guy's even top 25 lightweight. Are we serious? Like, who does Paddy Pimblett beat in the top 15 other than this matchup here today? Like, I don't think Paddy is that good. I really don't. And I don't know what has changed with the public perception, because I know 2-3 years ago, everyone wanted to fade this guy. Everyone wanted to fade him. And now, I get there's a hype train, but I don't think Paddy's that skilled. Good grappler, but we're talking about lightweight here. Everyone in the top 20, top 25 is like a good grappler besides Jalen Turner and Drew Dober. These guys are good grapplers. And on the feet, Paddy's striking, I guess offensively, his kicks are okay, but his defense, it is so bad. I think Bobby, number one, this is a very hard guy to offensively wrestle. In recent years, yes, Islam was able to wrestle Bobby, but Bobby came in on short notice and was coming in for a paycheck. Before that, I want to say it's 2009, last time he's been submitted. Correct me if I'm wrong. I want to say it's been like 16 years or some shit, or 15 years since his last submission loss. And then on the feet, like I mentioned, I bet Jim Miller to knock out Bobby Green, but southpaw, number one. Bobby Green has been knocked out by a lot of southpaws. Dustin Poirier knocked him out. Jalen Turner knocked him out. Drew Dober knocked him out. And I thought Jim Miller had a chance to do it. And he did hurt him in round one, which is concerning, obviously, for this matchup. But I think Jim Miller is a much more effective and dangerous striker than Paddy Pimblett, even at age 40. So I think, in this fight, if this plays out on the feet, how is Bobby? He's going to double him up. He's going to absolutely style on him if Paddy does not clip him early, which is a chance he does. But what are books lining it at? Plus 600 on the KO, and round one's probably over plus 1,000. Paddy's path here, I feel like I just don't think he's going to have that much grappling success. And yes, Bobby comes out some fights and does fuck all and does stupid shit. But at Pick'em, man, yeah, give me Bobby Green. I think I just, guys, are we serious? Paddy Pimblett is a top 15 lightweight? Are you kidding me? I'm sorry, I just don't see it. And I think even though that Bobby is declining and I worry about his chin and we're in Manchester, I think he can style on Paddy on the feet here. So pretty confident pick. I'm just going 1.1 units though on Bobby Green. Next fight up, we got Tom Aspinall and Curtis Blaydes. So I'll be honest, man, this money line is tempting. Curtis Blaydes plus 310. He's going to probably get knocked out in round one. I mean, look, Aspinall, I bet Aspinall in their first matchup was back and forth on that for a little bit. Still wasn't completely sold on, Aspinall, against the highest level guys. But hey, man, he's definitely proved me wrong. Even though he lost that fight, obviously fluke injury. I've been fading Curtis Blaydes here. A couple fights now. So, like I mentioned, I bet Aspinall, I bet Sergey Pavlovich, and I bet Jalin over Curtis Blaydes. So I'm not like crazy high on Curtis, but are we serious? Minus 400, Tom Aspinall. I just find it very, very hard to get there in a heavyweight fight when we still have a lot of unknowns on Aspinall extended. I mean, look, it's great that he's knocked out everyone in like 7.5 minutes and usually like 2 minutes, but we really don't know what this looks like if he faces like major adversity. We just haven't seen it. So to get to someone at minus 400 and heavyweight just seems a bit wide. If you like Aspinall here, I think it's, you play the round 1, the round 2 KO. I will be waiting live with my like multiple accounts open because I think if this does extend, Blaydes is really live. And I not even because we know that Aspinall's cardio, his cardio could be amazing. Aspinall could have 5-round cardio, but I don't think he does. And not that we really saw much in the Arlovski fight, but I trust that Curtis Blaydes, I think it's a good assumption that he would have the better cardio here. I think, Jalton did out-wrestle Blaydes pretty easily in round 1. So I think Aspinall, is a good wrestler himself. That is a path also, so maybe there's value on the submission props. But overall, man, I just can't get to Tom Aspinall minus 400 here. The first fight was like pick 'em pretty much. So, like I mentioned, I think it's Aspinall early KO, but I'm considering Blaydes. I really am. All right, finally, guys, we got the main event: Leon Edwards and Belal Muhammad. This is another one right now. I got no action on it. I'm not a Belal fan. I've made some money on Belal, and I also lost a bit of money on Belal. So let's go through. So obviously, guys, March 12th, 2021, Leon Edwards and Belal Muhammad faced off. Leon clipped him, and Belal got eye poked. It's, is what it is. Leon looked very good there. Since that fight, Belal fought Damian Maia. I bet him there. He's a decent chalk favorite. I want to say like minus 180, but Belal's takedown defense is elite, and he did well against Damian Maia. I bet Stephen Thompson over Belal. Very, very dumb bet. I was still a little, not as good back then, but I bet Stephen Thompson. I bet Loughran over Belal. And they're bad bets in hindsight, but at the time, man, I felt like any capable striker was like easy bet over Belal. It's just how I felt about Belal at the time. And yes, he's improved, but outstriking Sean Brady isn't impressive. It's not. That's a very tough. I bet Belal over Sean, and because it's a tough matchup, he's not going to have the ability to really wrestle like Belal at a high clip. And the striking, Belal was just a little better than him. He's just a little more polished. He's not great, but he's pretty active. And then I bet Gilbert Burns, who was his shoulder just like fell apart in round 1. So, and Belal couldn't even finish a beat up Gilbert Burns. So what I'm getting at, man, like I know like he's got to win over Loughran, he's got to win over Brady, a win over Burns, but I'm still not sold on Belal Muhammad as this elite game planner, steadily improving all aspects of his game. I'm not sold on it yet. It doesn't mean I'm going to back Leon Edwards at minus 250, because I think when you look at Leon as well, I bet Usman in their second fight in Elevation in Salt Lake City, Utah, and I thought, I wasn't counting it, but I thought we had it, man. I thought Usman, like boom, all my parlays are cashing, last leg, Usman's about to, just survive the 5th and get the decision. And credit to Leon, man. Like, you land one of the sickest, like, championship comeback knockouts ever. But I don't know if the Usman that fought him in the third fight is the same Usman that we saw as the number 1 pound-for-pound guy. And then I bet Leon over Colby. And Colby broke his fucking foot, like, in round 1, and proceeded to just get, pieced up. Like, it's not like Leon even really put it on him. But just was just a step ahead just in the striking there. So I lean Leon here, but at minus 250, is there really an edge in a fight that's probably going to decision, and Leon is typically low volume on the feet. I don't know, man. I think Leon looks really clean early. I could see Bilal maybe picking up a late round here, round or two. So I think it's Edwards' decision would be my most likely thing. I was hoping to get to maybe some KO props on Edwards, but it's hard to, man. When you watch a tape back, like, he's really not some like elite finisher. He's just a very, very good striker that will just be a step ahead and outpointing you. So I think it's Leon by decision, but no bet for me, man. All right, guys, that is it. If you liked the video, please like, subscribe, comment, and let's make some money this weekend.